Hi Capricorn, welcome to your December 2018 General Tarot reading. It's Raina, and the reason the cards are laid out, this is like actually the second spread that I put out for you. I had started a reading last night and got interrupted, so I left all the cards on the table, fully meaning to pick up where I left off this morning, and then I just picked up the cards and just started a totally different reading. I completely forgot that I needed to do your reading, so here are the cards. This is the second spread, and then I got interrupted again, so third time's a charm, I'm sure. And the heart of the matter is the Wheel of Fortune card. This card is connected to Jupiter, and if we look at timing, astrological timing, we have Jupiter in Sagittarius, the sign right before yours, and that can indicate that you have Jupiter for the next year in the area of karma and behind the scenes action. So that could be having some kind of a secret benefactor who is helping you, pulling the strings, making things work for you, maybe even money coming to you from some kind of, I don't know, good karma. You're on good behavior that you've exhibited, and you're getting your gold star from the universe, or in the form of money. Or it could simply be that someone wants to help you, but they don't want to be like out in the open about it. So you might get some help behind the scenes somehow. Excuse me. So that could be something that is of benefit to you in a way that is a little bit obscured, but the effects are still the same. I also think that with the Wheel of Fortune, it's just a general feeling of being aligned with what is happening. Now, in December, the sun does go into your sign, so that's going to be a time where you feel good anyhow. And you're probably going to feel very empowered during the time of your solar return. So that kind of thing is a great card to have, where you feel like everything's working out the way you want it to. The foundation card is the Ten of Wands, which is a card of, working very hard at something. So that could actually mean that you made your own luck in a way. So I think a lot of Capricorns resonate with that idea of making your own luck and working hard and reaping the benefits of it. The one thing about the Ten of Wands is that this can be a card of heavy burden. So it could be that you are succeeding, but with success comes a price. Maybe you have to work extra hours. Maybe you have a longer commute, and that adds to your wear and tear. Maybe you have more responsibility. You might be getting more pay, but you have more responsibility, and that is stressful in some way. Who knows? But I wanted to say, too, that because the Wheel of Fortune is connected to Jupiter, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and this is fire energy, too, that might be somebody that you're involved with who's a Sagittarius. In that type of relationship, you may feel like you have to do a lot of the work, and this is probably because when Capricorn gets involved with a fire sign, a lot of times what ends up happening is that they feel like the qualities that you may have been attracted to with the fire sign. Usually with fire, it's going to be Aries with you, but I'm wondering if there's a Sagittarius in your life. But the fire signs are very spontaneous, and I think that's enticing to Capricorns because you tend to be very regimented. And so you're very disciplined and very on schedule. And you might like that they are completely different from you because it gives you an excuse not to always be on schedule. And yet eventually it could turn into a situation where you're always kind of lecturing them, or even if it's just privately, you're thinking, oh gosh, what do they do now? And the card that crosses you is the Emperor card. So this is connected to Aries, and this is in the challenged position. So for sure, unless there's an Aries and a Sagittarius. But I feel like what could be happening is that you're experiencing success and Aries is threatened by the success. Now, I was just mentioning in another video that I associate the Emperor with Capricorn, okay? And so that would be your sign, obviously, but it is supposed to be associated with Aries. And somebody agreed with me that was watching one of my videos, because it's not just in terms of the authority figure, but in terms of what the Emperor represents. It seems more of like this deliberating type of a person. Aries is so spontaneous or rash. It doesn't have the same qualities that I would associate with this particular personality type. So that's sometimes when it gets a little bit irksome, because you can see that there are contradictions between these things. So taking what they're saying, this person may not be good for you. Maybe there's a quality that you really admire or which really excites you about this person, but overall they may be too upsetting of an influence on your life or disruptive of an influence. And sometimes these people may be very controlling. Of course, if this is an aspect of you, you might be too rigid. So in other words, you may be so concerned about authority and having that sense of power that you're willing to sacrifice some of your freedom. You know, with the Ten of Wands, the person is hunched over, and they're or they definitely have this sense of like having, you know, carrying a heavy load, and it begs the question: is it worth it? Is the kind of ego stroke of being able to say, oh yeah, this is something that I'm doing, is that worth the sacrifice of what this card represents, where you are really weighed down with responsibilities? And with the Wheel of Fortune, you're on a roll. And perhaps this person feels threatened if they don't have that in their life. So they may be causing you problems. The higher message is the King of Swords. And this is a card where you need to see things from an unemotional point of view. And typically, this is one of the reasons why I believe that this is something primarily relationship related, but this could totally be your in your professional life, because it could be that you are experiencing success, but it's coming at a price, and you may have a boss who is very kind of like old school, and maybe they have this this rigid mentality, and they're not willing to see things the way that you are experiencing them. So if you try to tell this person, you're working me too hard and I'm not as efficient, when you're actually working me too hard, they won't listen. So with the King of Swords, you may be feeling very emotional right now about your situation, and yet you are being asked to contemplate this situation in a very unemotional kind of a way. And The King of Swords can be like a judge type of an individual, similar to the Emperor. And you may have to imitate those qualities, because you may have an important decision to make about what you're willing to put up with in some sort of relationship, or even if it's at the workplace, it's a type of relationship. On the more literal or practical level, we have the Five of Pentacles, and this can be a card of somebody who has lack consciousness, and or is too materialistic and is not thinking enough about spiritual matters, and that could certainly be you. And I would also include, with talking about spiritual matters, also somebody not just materialistic but too ambitious, and not having the context or the not context, but the looking at things from the spiritual perspective, which is the higher perspective. Maybe just seeing things in terms of this moment, or more likely in the past. Maybe you remember a time when you experienced a lot of financial instability, because number 5 can connect to instability, and you never want to go back there again, and that makes sense. But the answer is not to overemphasize material matters. That's going to the other extreme. So that might be something that you have to reconcile yourself with. What's coming in is represented by the Nine of Cups, and this is the wish fulfillment card. Yes, this is an emotional card because it's water, but it's also, so it's talking about that wonderful feeling that you get when you feel that you have your dreams coming true, but it can also have a connotation of prosperity. Now, look at those two cards you get, one in the minor arcana with the Nine of Cups, and then the major arcana, the Wheel of Fortune. These are two very positive cards to get in one reading. So suggesting a lot, and I think the Nine of Cups is also connected to Jupiter, so that's another Jupiter reference. And you may just feel like your cup runneth over, and then actually the outcome is a card of choice, the Seven of Cups. Obviously, this could also be water sign individual, or maybe even more than one, since it's a choice card. So Cancer, your opposite sign, Pisces or Scorpio. And the Seven of Cups is a card warning you to, make the right choice. Don't allow the surface of things to interfere with your good judgment. So it does point to a lot of options for you. And that might be, there's so many options that you don't know what to choose. That seems like a Jupiter influence as well. And it seems to me that this reading is suggesting that you have a lot of good energy to work with, Capricorn. So let's pick a card from the Universe Has Your Back deck. I always want to say my back. I'm apologetic about what I desire and trust that what I focus on will grow. I've gotten that card before. And, as I was saying in another reading, I think sometimes these cards, as I start working with them, they have kind of unusual phrasings, and they're kind of informed by the Course in Miracles. So I think many, if not all, of the themes will be with that. particular book and its teachings. And saying I'm unapologetic about what I desire, that in itself people don't talk about, because you might even say yourself, why would I have to apologize for what I want in life? And we know, if we really think about it, that sometimes people will disapprove of our dreams. And with Capricorn, a lot of times, because of the influence of Saturn, you're duty bound. You're like, I have to make my parents proud of me, or I have to have this type of job. It pays the most money, and I can get this. And you're always thinking so pragmatically that you forget or you neglect to consider what would make you happy. If you had all the money that you needed in the bank and you didn't have to worry about money, what would you be doing? Would you be doing what you're doing right now, or would you be doing something totally different? The more totally different it would be, the more you probably have to honor your dreams, and the more that you're probably turning your back on your dreams. And then the part where it says, and trust that what I focus on will grow, look at that regardless. What you focus on increases. So if you focus on lack, like the Five of Pentacles, you will see more examples of that. And even if you don't even believe in the law of attraction, logically, when you focus on flaws in life, the things that aren't working, and you go out into the world every day and you see the things that aren't okay, you will continuously see life proving itself to you that it is inadequate. But if you see reasons to be happy and thankful, I think those multiply. Okay, Capricorn, I hope that you enjoyed this, and happy birthday to those of you who are born in December. And if you'd like a private reading, the link is below. Have a wonderful month. Bye.